Alright friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kristen and this is Growing Zone 9B. So as you guys know, anybody that knows that Florida got hit by some snow flurries. Central Florida, that's where I'm at. We got hit by some snow flurries. There were some flurries in my area. The temperatures have been dramatic for us here. So basically, I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to be starting over. So we tried to cover as much as we could, but unfortunately, when we have a lot of temperatures that are reaching the feel-like temperature, just the night before last was, it felt like 8 degrees. That's temperatures that Florida just does not often see. And I do have a lot of tropical plants, not a large variety, but I definitely have a lot of tropicals. And so that equals a lot of death. My palm trees are feeling it. Like every plant that I have is feeling it at this point. I did try to salvage some plants and put them in some smaller buckets. I had some pups on my bananas, my Namwa dwarfs. I tried to, save those, but everything else we tried to wrap. We got a lot, not a lot of rain, but we did get some rain that came through. So this video is basically the death of my garden. Which, it is what it is. Mother Nature has her own way of doing things, and sometimes it's good to start over. I don't know what to say, but it is what it is at this point, and we can't make any adjustments, obviously, now. So what I did do is I did go ahead for next time. I did have some frost cloth cover. I went ahead and ordered some more from Grower Solution. That should be arriving. While that will not protect or help me now, that may help in the future for some additional beds. What beds and plants we could wrap up, we did. We brought some underneath the carport, but I just want to show you guys, you make these investments, but like I said, with Mother Earth, you just never know, and you may end up having to replace your plants, and I do mean like all of them. So that is the risk you take being a grower. All right, so here is my bougainvillea. It is definitely shot. It is gone. Bougainvilleas do not look like this. We are expecting, again, temperatures tonight to be in around 20 degrees. These are my Mexican sunflowers. They are completely dead. As far as the outside of them, I do see a couple of green stalks. What I'm hoping for is with the Mexican sunflowers that I will be able to maybe cut them back, and then maybe the roots did not get as damaged, so we will be starting from scratch for these. All right, my bananas definitely will end up dying for sure. So my bananas are very much so gone. You can see that they are just going to start to fall over at this point. They are completely cold. Like you can see here where the banana leaf is just fallen over and it's weak. That is just completely frozen. It had gotten frozen and damaged. This is basically what we're looking at with the bananas. They are gone. I'm hoping that maybe if we cut these back to the ground that we might be able to see some pups that come through. There's Tiffany just laying in the dirt. My dirt dog, my pound dirt dogs. This was a philodendron up here. It's completely gone and died. To be expected. These plants aren't really designed to have, you can see the water coming out of them. Long-term exposure to cold, and again, we're gonna have another night of that. Right now, I don't know if my plumeria is going to make it. It feels like it's definitely gotten hit pretty hard. So we'll see how that goes. Hey, Punky. Banana that's over here in the corner. Nice job, Pumpkin. It's nice and crunchy. I don't expect this one to live either. This is my seiso or Brazilian spinach. This plant is completely shot and gone. Like I said, again, with temperatures reaching into the low 20s, you know, tonight, there's no way that any of this is gonna survive. Over here is my now dead and sad tomato, which is okay. We can always replace the tomatoes. These are, you know, plants we can grow again. This is one of my sweet potato squash. You can see a little bit of the leaves still here, but the plant itself is pretty much just blistered and gone. I'm sure with all these green tomatoes that are on here like this, at this point I didn't get them picked. They're all squishy and nasty, so they'll end up just reproducing in the yard here because we'll just mow over this area. Now we did try to cover up, you can see the tomato here, we did try to cover up our pineapple the best we could, and we hope that they survive. Only time will tell, especially with additional cooler weather coming in. They look pretty okay underneath there, so we're praying for the best. Now my papaya, this one will have to come out. This is, you can kind of tell it looks wrinkly and sad. This is damage, this is frost damage. So this papaya is definitely not gonna make it. We will end up taking out the entire plant. This plant was leaning anyway, so it's fine. We'll end up cleaning that up. Now my arugula over here in the corner, it's made it, it's fine. It withstood the cold weather, but it was getting ready to go out of season anyway. So this papaya here, you can see it took a nice hit. Again, a lot of damage on the plant. This papaya, I do not expect it to live. The papaya will take probably a solid 2 weeks or so before I really see it starting to break down at the base, and it will end up just falling over and dying because it's just had too long of exposure to the cold. Hi, Luna. This little papaya here also took a hit. I can tell just looking at it that, I mean, obviously the top of the leaves are dead, but right here on the base, I can really tell on the stem itself, the trunk, that this plant is just not going to survive. It's not going to make it. Now we covered up our bananas, but as you can see, there's a lot of brown. I do not know if these bananas will make it. I'm hoping that the base of them will make it and potentially that they'll produce more pups. My nasturtium or nastrium definitely took a hard hit. They're dead. There's no way that these are gonna come back. I was hoping to get a lot of nasturtium seeds to do pickling with, but that's just obviously not gonna happen. So we'll just end up composting this. I mean, we'll just turn this all back into the bed, and you know what, it'll just rejuvenate the bed. And like I said, I have the mustard greens over there, the red mustard greens. They withstood the wind so far and damage, so it is what it is. All right, and then over here you can see that this bed took a hard hit. Not that there was much in it anyway, but I don't expect it to really live. You can see that there were nasturtium growing into the pathway over here. Those took a hit. Now right here was some beautiful eggplant, and you can see all in my bed that my eggplant are gone. They did not survive this cold weather. My basil absolutely died over there in the corner. I do have an eggplant right here. At this point, I might as well just pull it off because it's not doing it any good hanging on. So there's my eggplant. We'll make a little something with it. It would have been beautiful. There was a lot of flowers on this eggplant, but this bed didn't survive either. So now I will tell you what did survive in here, and that is my mint. It looks very happy and lovely. As you guys know, this was, you know, this is my Vigo bed. It completely ripped. It is not well designed for Florida. in my opinion. Now over here is my blue banana. This does have frost cloth on it. Again, I don't know if this little plant is gonna make it. My rosemary definitely is doing good. It hung in there. My onions, they got frozen and fell over. We were able to cover up, that's another nasturtium right there that died. We were able to cover up my carrots in this bed and some bok choy over here in this corner. So I'm hoping that they'll survive with this cover. I don't want to pull the cover up just because we're going to have another cold night. Again, here's another banana, completely shot out. That cold weather is just, it's not having it. So this is my turmeric here. I'm hoping because the roots are down underneath that bed that it's just the tops of them that got really burned. There was nothing really over here, so I'm not too worried about that. Now over here I had some squash planted, I had some nasturtium, and you can see a little bit of arugula in this bed. Again, this is an area that can be cleaned up, and so we will definitely be moving forward with cleaning up a lot of these beds at this point. As you guys can see over here, these are my Mexican sunflowers. They are shot. I'm hoping that they'll just come back from the base. My key limes appear to have made it fairly well and okay, but my poor mulberry that was over here was actually starting to fruit. As you guys can see right here, there are some little fruits that were on here, but the leaves are completely burned. I don't know how damaged this tree may have gotten from this. I'm hoping again that the roots and the base might have done fairly well, so we can maybe just trim this back and then hoping that it will come back to life, because at this point we're not, you know, we've still got more cold nights. My tomato over here definitely got shot from the weather. You can see here's some tomatoes on here. These little tomatoes will go ahead and just drop. We'll just let them drop and they can come back to life by dropping their seeds. So much for the tomatoes. That papaya over there is definitely shot. We will take all the papayas that are already on there and I'll just go ahead and drop them in the bed. There are actually, I can see one now that's already dropped it's dropping its own papayas at this point. Yeah, you see them right there. Like, I throw out compost, but that right there, that green one, and then there's one in the back, they're just dropping on their own. Yeah, these got really damaged in the storm. You can see they almost look frosty. That is from being frozen, literally, and they're not gonna survive. So this is another Mexican sunflower. I was hoping that it would just hang in there and protect my key lime that we got all the key limes off of this year. I can see some damage on this key lime, but for the most part I think it's hung in there. And again, like I said, unfortunately we've got some more cold nights coming through, so we'll see. All right, these plants over here, man, what a mess. So I had some hibiscus over here. My giant philodendron, they completely died right here. There is nothing to those giant philodendrons. I don't know if this is gonna come back or if we're gonna have to do a major cleanup on this area. I had a fire and ice plant over here, right here in this corner. That is also completely gone. As you guys know, my mustards hung in there, which is fine. We got as much as we could off the mustards anyway, basically, and I'll just be popping these back into the ground. Over there in that bed, I have some turmeric. I think it's gonna be okay because, like I said, that's really in the ground. I don't think we need to worry about that right now. All right, so my ginger definitely took a major hit. It's just completely shot out and gone. This area just looks cruddy. We're gonna have to clean it up. This is my Seiso or Brazilian spinach. I also had some tomatoes that came through here. My tomatoes over here definitely died. There was lots of red tomatoes on my plant. You can see them in here. Hi, pumpkin. You're a good girl. Yes, I know. Sit down. All right. So, yeah. So, I'm just going to end up probably just turning these back under the bed at this point, because there's nothing that can be done. It is what it is. So, yeah. Look at those tomatoes. I had quite a few tomatoes. I really should have come out here and picked them before the storm came through, but didn't happen. Sad. It's sad. But they can be replaced. So yeah, here's the other side of the bed. Look at that. Just terrible, damaged. This is oregano. It's gone. Maybe it'll come back. All right. Yeah. There's more tomatoes that were all down in here. So I'm just gonna push this back and just, my fiance will come through and weed whack it. We had tomatoes all on there. Nasturtium or nastrium, gone. I anticipate that these papayas as well. Oh yeah, you can see the damage. They still look frosty. They look like they have ice on them, but that's not. That's actually a protective layer that's on these plants coming out, and yeah, they're gonna go. They just won't make it. So good thing we got as many as we could off the plant. Papaya forest is officially going to be dead, which is really sad because some of these papayas were just mammoth, like the size of watermelons. This whole bed just completely died, but the wind coming up off the lake just annihilated them. But yeah, you can see these are frosty. These, you can see how they look. Giant papayas are all gonna be gone, but we will drop these plants into this bed here and they'll be happy and reproduce. Now, I don't want to pull the covers off again. We've got, this is my kumquat. I'm hoping that these sheets might have helped to some degree. Over here, I put a box over it, hoping that that would help to some degree. But this is one of my guavas. I couldn't pull it up, obviously, out of the ground. And so it's up underneath there, and it doesn't really look like too much damage has happened. And I took the tomato that was dying and I pushed it all up in there to kind of keep it protected. And so I'm hoping that that will work. It's kind of, you know, trashy of me, but whatever it takes to keep that plant living. Over here I have my pineapple guavas. I can definitely see some damage happening on these leaves. But I am hoping that at the end of the day that the base was really established enough that I won't have to worry about maybe replanting that. So back here, my sunflowers are definitely shot out and gone. I don't know if my grapes made it either, because they always look kind of weak this time of year. So here is my back bed. My nasturtium or nastrium, they all died. They're not gonna come back. They got bit too hard. Even my bok choy looks a little sad. So there's the other side of it. It's all basically dead and dying. And then this is my toilet paper plant. I'm pretty sure that it's gonna struggle if it even wants to come back. There were more tomatoes over here in this bed, and they are definitely gone as well. And then here's a mulberry here. It's got some beautiful fresh little leaves on it, but I don't know if it's gonna make it or not. I'm hoping that it will, and only time will tell. We have my neem plant. I think this kind of survived, so I'm okay with this. Like, and I've got some shoots coming out from down here at the bottom. I think that this plant will survive. This banana got nipped too hard. I don't expect it to actually live. And then my star fruit. It had some beautiful little flowers on it, and I think that it wanted to produce, but being that it also got hit by this cold weather, only time will tell if it's gonna live. So that's it for today. It's, you know, it is what it is, and it's the risk you take growing. I still encourage each and every one of you to get out there and grow. You know, it's really, honestly, in fairness, it's rare that here in Central Florida that we actually have weather that just drops like this and stays cold for this long of a period of time. We still have the entire week ahead and weekend that it's anticipated to be very cold for us. And so at this point, like I said, if we have to start over, we'll just stay positive and, you know, pray that it all comes back. And there's always a reason for everything, and this is why we prep and we prepare. And the things that we are pulling in from the garden, that we make sure that we're sharing, like I said, with our friends, family, and neighbors. And we keep enough back for ourselves just in case we do have a bad year. Like I said, I dropped these papayas, and it's going to take me a solid 2 or 3 years potentially before I start seeing papayas on them again from little sprouts. So, you know, what can you do, friends? You know, just like I said, you just pray for the best. And you know what? We still got a roof over our head. It's not like a hurricane when we have hurricanes that come through. These things can be replaced, and while it's expensive and we don't want that to happen, we move forward. So until next time, friends, love one another, be kind, and I'll see you guys real soon.